Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, yesterday we made a video on another platform called Elementor, a popular page builder, and we did a section with a video background and a text overlay with call to action button, very much like this. We had a question on it and they were asking if you could do it with Divi. Well, yeah, you can do it with Divi. It's not quite as straightforward though. It takes a bit of work. But if anybody's interested, take a look and we'll get this done today. So I'm going to start. Let's add a new page. Of course, we'll give it a title. And use the Divi builder. Okay, I'm going to build from scratch. I'm going to insert single column in my row. And I'm actually going to use a code module for our video today rather than a video module because that lets me manipulate the video a bit better. So we go down to code. Now we've got our module. I need to go over to YouTube or Vimeo or Facebook, wherever it is you want to get your video from, and embed the code. So I've chosen a video here. I'm going to hit the share button. I'm going to hit embed. And I'm going to copy the code. And we'll go back and we'll pop the code into our little module right here. And there it is. Great, we got a regular YouTube video that plays when we hit the play button. But I want it to play automatically and I don't want any sound to be heard either. So I need to modify the code here a little bit, and don't worry about this too much. I'll put what I'm doing here underneath. And what you need to do, if you look at your code up here, next to the source is the URL of the actual YouTube video itself. So it starts at HTTPS and ends in the C there. Obviously yours is going to be different if it's a different video. Right after the C and before the inverted comma there, make sure you get it just before the inverted comma. To make it autoplay, I'm going to put question mark and then the word autoplay. Autoplay equals 1. And as you can see, it's going to start playing that video now, which is just what we want. But I also don't want any sound. So right after the 1 of autoplay equals 1, I'm going to say ampersand or an mute equals 1 also. Now it's playing and we've got no sound there, which is great. Just what we need. Fantastic. Alright, well, let's save that. Next thing we want to do is we want to make this full width if we're going to use it for a kind of section background. It's actually a row background or a module, but we've got to tweak it to make it full width. So let's go into the row. I'm going to go to design. I'm going to go to sizing. I'm going to slide this up to full width. I'm going to copy the 100%, Control C, and paste it in the max width below, or you can just type it in if you prefer. Now we've got a full width video that's playing with no sound. Great. Now I don't want any gaps at the top or the bottom. So while we're in the row, let's go to our spacing and make sure there's no gaps at the top or bottom by adding a 0 in the padding. Hit the chain, it'll do the bottom too. And we'll do the same thing for the actual section itself, the blue tab there. Design, spacing, put a 0 in the padding and hit the chain. There we go, we're buffered up against the top and there's no space at the bottom either. Now this is a little big for me. I just want this section to be, I don't know, say 500 pixels tall. So let's save our section settings, and we need to go into the row again, the green tab. I'm going to go to my design. Actually, before I go to design, I'm going to go to the advanced tab and I'm going to go down to visibility, and I want to turn any overflow off, because what's going to happen if we shrink the row, module within it will still spill out over. To stop that, we need to turn the overflow off. So both horizontal and vertical, I'm going to set to hidden. Now we can go back into our design tab, down to sizing, and make it the height we want. So I'm going to go down to max height, and I'm going to bring it down. As you can see, it's shrinking. Just put it where you want it. I'm going to make mine about 500 pixels, I guess. You can type in a value, use a slider, and use the little arrows on the right hand side for fine tuning. I'm also going to make sure that the height stays constant, so I don't want it really shrinking down any smaller than that, so I'm going to paste that in the height as well. So now we've got our little strip here with our video playing with no sound, just what we want. But we want to have a text overlay over the top of it. Now this is where things get interesting. So I'm going to save all of our changes here. I'm going to go to our wireframe mode, because you see when I hover over the video there on the back end, it kind of leaps back to the normal size. To make this easier, I'm going to edit in wireframe mode, which is the little icon to the right here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the row that our video's in here, because it's got everything we need in it. Hit the little duplicate button, the two squares there. I'm going to get rid of the code module, which is the video. And inside here, I'm going to add whatever module it is you want to add. I'm going to add a call to action. Put in whatever you want. And button. And obviously you're going to want some text in there. Let's go to Lorem Ipsum and get some content. Now I don't want too much, a few lines will do. Let's take it about that much. And we'll go back and put that in as our content. And to make the button show up, once we're in here, we can flip this back and you'll see your little call to action down there. Put this back on desktop, I guess. There's the little call to action. And to have the button show up, we need to add a link. Put whatever link you want in there. I'm just going to put a hashtag. If you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking to an external site, open it in a new tab so your site stays open. That's best practice. Okay. Now then, I don't want any color in the background there, but I do want a bit of an overlay so we can read our text. So what I'm going to do is I'll take the background away from our call to action right here, which is here. Just hit the little trash can to get rid of it. White on white text, you can't see it, but it is there. We'll save that and let's go into the row now and we'll give it a bit of a background. Hit the little cog for the row on the green tab there. Well, I'm going to give it black background, but I don't want it as black as that. So I'm going to click on the color. I'm going to bring the opacity down, maybe to about 50%. We can tweak this later on, get it how we want it. And I also want my content a little further down, so I'm going to go back into the module and give it a bit of padding on the top so it's more central. So we'll go back into the module. I'm going to give it a bit of padding, design, spacing, and let's give it, say, 150 on the top. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. Now you may not want it to stretch quite as wide as that, and if that's the case, while we're in here, we can shut up spacing. We'll go to sizing. I'll bring the width down to perhaps 70% or something like that, whatever works for you. And of course we want it aligned in the middle, so we'll just pop it back into the middle like that. Okay, very good, but we want that up here. Okay, to do that we need to go back into our row, green tab. And we know both of these rows are 500 pixels tall because that's what we set them sizing wise. So if we go into our design here to spacing, if I give it a negative margin of minus 500 or negative 500, it should pop up and sit in the middle of our video module there. There we go. So we've got our little video module there with a text overlay. Let's just save it. Make sure it's going to work on the front end. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Now, on a mobile, you probably want to disable this because video backgrounds don't usually work on a mobile, but it should work on a tablet. We may have to tweak the settings a bit. So I'm using Google Chrome with the inspector tools. I'm going to hit F12. And there we have it on a tablet. That actually looks fine, so we don't need to tweak anything there on the tablet. I think we've got a little extra on the bottom there. So we may have to adjust that slightly. But on the cell phone, like I say, I'd probably disable it altogether and put another module in. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Yeah, because first thing, that the video is probably not going to play on a cell phone. Most video backgrounds don't. And that content just simply doesn't work there. So let's fix that issue first. So we'll get out of here. Go back into our Visual Builder. And again, most of this I'm going to do on the back end. So let's hit the little purple button and go to wireframe mode again. And I'm going to create another row. And I'm not going to put anything in it because I'm going to copy our little module, call to action module here. Hit the clone button. I'm going to drag it down, put it in here. Now for the background of our row, this time I'm going to put an image in. And this is purely going to be for our mobile settings. So let's go in there. Go to content, background. Let's add an image. Usually I would have taken a still from the video, but I'll just put in whatever image I've got available up here. There we go. And again, still from the video, I would have just used a screen capture shot. That's great. Now this row I only want to be visible on mobile phones. So if I go to advanced, visibility, disable on tablet and desktop. Great. And we want to disable this row on mobile, advanced, visibility, disable on phone. And the same for the video one above it. Advanced, visibility, disable on phone. Great. Well, let's go back to the front end now, and we needed to tweak something on the tablet view, I seem to remember. Yeah, we've got a little spillage over at the bottom here, which is the height of this row right here. So let's make sure we got the right one by going back into wireframe. It's going to be this row. So we'll go in there, flip it back so we can see what's going on. We'll go to design, sizing, it's going to be the height. And it's going to be min height, or sorry, max height. And we want to roll over the dark legending. This is common to most Divi modules. Hit the little mobile phone looking icon. We'll go to tablet we're on at the moment and drag this until it's the right height for us. Ooh. As you can see, it's going up there. Get it close, and then you can actually fine tune it with the little buttons there. Get it to where you want it. That should work fine now. Let's just look on mobile phone, and might have to tweak this a bit. Doesn't look like it's wide enough. There it is. Our top two sections are grayed out because you can't see them. Okay, so we want to change our content to its full width. And we also want to make this row full width too. And we should be done. So let's go into our row for our module row. Before I do that, well, I'll do it while I'm in here. If it gets confusing for you, you can name these rows by going into the admin label on the content tab of all of these modules. and call it something that's going to help you to remember what it is if it's confusing for you. As you can see, it's called it mobile row there. Alright, well, we wanted to make this full width, so we'll go in there, design, sizing, and again 100%, copy it, paste it in max width below, Control V to paste, or you can type it in just as easily. So that's taking care of the row size. We can actually flip it back to mobile if we need to, but the content's still a little squished up there. So let's go back into our little module itself. We'll save this. We can go into a module right here. And remember, we squished that content up to 70% with the sizing when we copied it over from above. So if we go down to sizing, pop that back up to 100%. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, everything should actually work now. So let's save draft or publish it if you're ready. And exit the Visual Builder. And there's our video background with our little call to action on the top of it. Obviously you can change your button and style things how you want to. Let's hit the F12 key and make sure it's going to work on tablet and mobile too. Well, there it is on mobile phone, and that looks pretty good to me. Could do with a bit of an overlay on the background there to make it stand out, but apart from that it seems to work okay. And let's have a look on a tablet. Let's make that a bit bigger so we can see. Yeah, that's fine. As you can see, the video's rolling in the background and everything's standing out nicely there. So there you have it. There's a full width video background with a call to action and a little text overlay. Looks like our background is not actually working. You know, we put a little color in there to make our text stand out. So let's have a quick look at that. Let's just enable the Visual Builder. And I think what we may need to do is the background we put on the call to action module there, might have to tweak the Z index. So let's go down to our little backend editor here, Wireframe. It's this row here which has our call to action in it. I think we put a colored background on here that may not be showing up. Let's have a look. Yeah, we did. So let's flip it back to desktop. I think we need to pull the Z index up a little bit. Of course, we've got a dark video now, so you can't tell so much. Let's go to advanced, and what we'll do, we'll go to position, and if we roll down a bit, there's a Z index there. And if I pull it up, you should see that dark background come in. There we go. If I pull it back down. So we just need to pull that Z index. And what the Z index is it brings things forward or backwards on your site. Things with a higher Z index will be on top of things with a lower index. So that's fine. I think that may be a little too much, that background color now. So you can always make it more opaque to make it lighter and less opaque to make it darker. So I guess I'll leave it around there. Okay, well there we go. We should be good to go. Make sure everything's saved. And let's exit. So there we have it. There's a full width YouTube video background with text overlay and a little call to action button. Takes a little bit longer than doing it with the Elementor, but you can do it as long as you're prepared to put in a tiny bit of work, and it'll work out perfectly. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.